Hi guys, welcome to the channel. It is another Monday and we want to talk to you today from a subject entitled What It Takes to Be Successful. First of all, I want to begin off by saying if you like the video, you can click subscribe and always know when content is becoming available so that when you need that extra push, when you need that extra motivation, you can just hit that link and know when we're coming in and touch the bell as well, and you can see all the content that we're bringing towards you. Today I want to talk to you about something that I'm very familiar with, and that is being successful. Fortunately for me, by the grace of God, I have been successful in various areas of my life. I have started 3 businesses, started a church, and did other things in my life that I was extremely successful in. And I did it against the odds. I did it against the odds. And I want to start off by saying that to you that there are more than one way of being successful. There's more than one way of being successful. You can be successful by being an author. You can be successful by being a lawyer, an athlete, an influencer, an actor, a doctor, an accountant, a producer. You could be a singer, an entertainer like Beyonce, or you could be an inventor, an NFL sports coach, or an entrepreneur. That's my choice. I was an entrepreneur. I started 3 businesses from scratch and turned them into multi-million dollar businesses. I think my story is important because my children have encouraged me to talk about it. Yeah, I've never did these kind of videos before. I never thought that I had anything that anybody wanted to hear, anybody wanted to listen to. But as I began to travel around and people began to pay me to do speeches, to talk about my experience and the things that I learned along the way that made me successful, I thought that it was necessary for me to share this. My children and those close to me asked me if I would begin to share with people what it takes to be successful. So the first of all, I want to say to you once again, you can be successful in a variety of different ways. You don't have to be successful just in the ways that we've seen and we've read books about. May I submit to you for your approval the knowledge that there are ways of being successful that we haven't even discovered yet. I don't want you to think that the ways that we already know about are the only ways that there are to be successful. There are new ways of riches that have not been discovered yet. Just think about how many years ago we've come up with the cell phone. Think about how many years ago we came up with Google, and we came up with the World Wide Web and the internet, and how everybody is using it now, and how all the digital creators who are now going on to the internet and creating channels. Look at YouTube. We didn't have YouTube many years ago, and now it's here and people are making money from it. Look at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All of these were not available years ago, but someone in their creativity went ahead and put their thoughts into motion, and now they are successful because of it. I want to say to you that success has different levels and success has different seasons. You may think, well, I'm 50 years old, I'm 60 years old, Terrence. There's certainly nothing I can do. Can I say to you that Colonel Sanders started Kentucky Fried Chicken in his 60s? Yes, in his 60s. And I want to say to you, the McDonald brothers, who owned the McDonald's franchise, and they bought it from another guy. They were in their mid 40s. These were not young people. So if you're thinking that, well, I'm a teenager or I'm a college grad and I'm in my 20s and I haven't figured life out yet, that's fine. That is fine. You still have time to learn what it is that you are called to do. One of the first things I want you to say to yourself is, I can do it. I have what it takes. Why don't you say that to yourself right now? I have what it takes. You may be a mom sitting in your kitchen right now. I'm sitting in my kitchen right now. You may be sitting in your kitchen. You may be sitting in your family room. The kids may be running around the house. You may be sitting in your office and you're saying to yourself, my life is not fulfilled. I want to serve notice on you you have what it takes to be successful. It is down within inside of you. Oftentimes we trade our creativity for a paycheck, and we go and work on somebody's job and they give us a paycheck for those hours that we work. And we really don't spend the time working on the things that we want to be successful in, or the things that we have on the inside of us. Everybody's success is not going to be the same. And everybody's season of success is not going to be the same. Muhammad Ali did interviews, and he did one interview with Mike Tyson. In the latter season of his life, Mike Tyson did something that I thought was amazing. He danced in Muhammad Ali's living room and said to the champ, "Look at my feet, champ. Look how fast my feet are. Can you catch me? You can't catch me. Can you? Can you catch me?" Even though Mike Tyson was younger, even though Mike Tyson was the heavyweight champion, he still called Muhammad Ali champ, because he did not want anybody to think that you're too old to still be honored with your accomplishment. Yes. Michael Jackson died, and when Michael Jackson died, he died and people still honored him. Sorry about that, somebody's calling me. People still honored him because of what he had accomplished before. Success has seasons. You're not going to be fruitful all your life. So like the spider and like the ant, you have to know how to, in the season of your life when you are the most productive, get together, get your ideas together, get your plan together, and launch it in order to be successful. So let me go back to one thing. Success has levels. There are levels to success. I found out from being a businessman, everyone does not want to be what they call filthy rich. Everybody don't want a house in the Hamptons. Everybody don't want to drive a Rolls Royce. I found that out. I surround myself with rich people on a daily basis. I'm surrounded in my circle by millionaires. I've met many celebrities as well. Hulk Hogan and the actors from True Blood, and other people I've got a chance to meet that are successful businessmen, entrepreneurs, and people who have owned their own companies and started their own businesses. I surround myself with them. I pay them. I take them out to dinner. I want to know how you made it. Let me say this to you again. Success has levels. Some people are content operating a business out of their home, while other people want to be the CEO of their major corporation, and they want to have a Facebook. They want to have a Google kind of worldwide organization. Everybody does not want to be worldwide. There are some people say that success for them is just being able to take care of their family. And you never hear about them. They're never on the news, but they own the store at the corner. They own the beauty shop at the corner. They own the Family Dollar store. They own the local hardware store, and they are perfectly fine, have a home in the suburbs. They're able to go on vacations when they want to. So please understand, you don't have to be Mark Zuckerberg in order to have success. You don't have to be Denzel Washington, Oprah Winfrey in order to determine that you are successful. You can be successful on your own level. Did you hear me? You can be successful on your own level. But I want to say to you, success has seasons. There are things that you can do in your 20s and your 30s that you cannot do in your 70s or 80s. So you don't want to try to do something at one season of your life that you should have done in another season of your life. Every decade of your life, you have the ability to do something different with the wisdom, the experience, the talents, and the gifts that you have at this season of your life. May I say to you that there are some things that are not discovered in you until you get older. When you get some wisdom, when you've gone through some things, when you've gone through some experience. You shouldn't write a book about raising children when you're 19 and you don't have any children. You shouldn't write, you're writing a book too early. Sometimes you shouldn't write a book about marriage and you've only been married 6 months. This is still your honeymoon stage. This might not be the best time for you. You shouldn't write a book about grief when you've never had anybody close to you that have passed away. So sometimes it takes experience and it takes years and it takes seasoning of your life in order for you to be successful. And oftentimes success ends up being birthed out of experience and yes, even out of pain. I've had it to happen in my own life. When I started to be successful, it was the product of me going through a season of my life in my 20s when I lost everything. I went through a season in my life in my early 20s, around 23 years old. I was doing well, had a good corporate job. I was doing okay for myself, had a beautiful place. Nobody in my family had a more beautiful place than I did when I was 23. And then all of a sudden, a situation happened and I was separated from my job. Corporate job, car gone, savings gone. I had savings in the bank that I was able to live through for a while. Then after that, didn't have it. All of my things were placed in storage, and there I was sleeping on my mother's couch. 7 or 8 months later, sleeping on my mom's couch at 23 years old. Then I ended up living in an abandoned building. Lost everything. Lost everything. Living in an abandoned building for almost a year. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Staying in that building. But something happened to me there. I got a chance to know myself. I got a chance to reflect. I got a chance to pull myself up. And I went from being a person that was homeless in an abandoned building, sleeping on the floor, to a person driving a Mercedes-Benz, wearing mink coats, living in a beautiful home, owning multiple businesses, owning multiple properties. How do you go from being homeless, living in an abandoned building, to walking into a car dealer paying cash for Mercedes-Benz, walking into a furrier and paying cash for 1, 2, 3 mink fur coats, diamonds, and all, to live the life that I was able to live, and to be able to help my family and to give back and help so many people, and then start touring, teaching people the concepts of success and how I made it, and how my relationship with success does not have to be yours. It can be cookie-cutter. I was able to go into inner cities and teach drug dealers how to get out of the game and how to become legitimate business people. I was able to do that, and many of them came and sit at my feet. Many of the biggest gang members in our country have sat at my feet as I taught them how to come out of that world and have legitimate businesses. And I am telling you, you can do the same thing. First of all, you've got to discover what hidden gifts and talents you have inside of you that you've been overlooking. Here's the easiest way. Ask yourself, what is it that people come to you for advice for? What do people come to you for counsel for? That is a telltale sign that you have gifts and talents and abilities inside of you that other people are willing to pay you for. Other people are willing to sit and listen to you for. That can be monetized and be a telltale sign of what your purpose can be. Maybe you're supposed to be a counselor. Maybe you're supposed to be a person that writes a gossip columnist, or a person that gives an advice columnist, gives advice to people. Maybe you're supposed to do that. Don't just look at the fact that everybody comes to you and love your cooking and say, oh, it's so nice. Everybody comes to me, they love my cooking. Maybe the universe, maybe God's purpose for your life is to use your cooking skills to start your own restaurant. And instead of you going to work every day on a job that's paying you $10, $12, $15 an hour flipping burgers at McDonald's, maybe you're supposed to be the McDonald's franchise owner. Maybe you're supposed to have your own restaurant. Maybe you're vegan, not just because it's something that upset your stomach, but maybe that's the universe. Maybe that's your God telling you that the reason that you have to be vegan is because I want you to be the impetus to create something that's not been created before. Create a store for that. I am telling you, you may be missing your opportunity by ignoring the gifts, the talents, and abilities that you have on the inside of you. I know this video is becoming long. I'm going to shorten it out today. I want you to understand this. Sometimes your tragedy and even your necessity can be the impetus and the platform that leads you into success. I was homeless, and from that, I was brought into a project of owning my own homeless shelter. So I'll tell you this story and then I'll conclude this video. I was talking to someone who owned several city shelters in the city of Chicago. And one day in passing, he was coming out of the building. I was going into a building. He says to me, "Hey, have you ever thought about owning a shelter?" I had never thought about owning one. To show you how life will come back and show you why you went through what you went through. I remember 25 years prior to that, I was homeless. And now 25 years later, I'm presented with an opportunity to have a homeless shelter. I went and I already had an apartment building. I had purchased an apartment building in Chicago for $85,000. It was a 3-unit apartment building. I had tenants living in the building. I then went to the city of Chicago and I proposed to them using my 3-flat apartment building and converting it into a shelter. They came by, they saw the building, and they told me if I would remodel the building into a shelter that they could use, then they may give me a contract. So I gave notices to the tenants that were in my building that the building was going to be converted and they would have to move. The tenants moved out. I refinanced my personal home, took the money out of my personal home, rehabbed the building so that it would be able to pass the city inspections, and the city approved it. When the city approved it, I went to my local officials and had them to agree to give me a special use permit for that building so that it could be used for business. And the residential building that it was transformed into a shelter for 75 women and children. I then went back to the city, told them the building has been converted. They sent someone out to review the building. I went to a local black business owner who owned a furniture store. I purchased 75 bunk beds. Yes, I know some of you who lived in my shelter will remember that. I purchased 75 bunk beds because in the city of Chicago, they just give you a little blue cot and you sleep on the floor. I did not want people sleeping in my shelter on the floor. So I bought bunk beds, wooden bunk beds, and put them all in the apartments. I cleared the place out, put bunk beds everywhere. It was something. And the city gave me a contract. The city gave me my first contract. I think it was like $800,000. Yeah. Before the city gave me that contract, I was making $50,000 a year on my job. I went from making $50,000 a year to a government grant from our state, $840,000 to get this shelter started. The second grant that we got from the state was $2.3 million. I opened up a HIV/AIDS center to be able to provide more housing, not just for the homeless, but for those impacted with HIV/AIDS. What I'm trying to show you is this: there's more than one way to be successful. I went on to own other apartment buildings and went on to do other things in business. Also was a pastor of a church, bishop in the state of Illinois. So I went on to do some great things with my life. And I just want to let you know, you have what it takes. You may be overlooking some things and some experiences that you went through. And as I said earlier, even my tragedy 25 years ago, I ended up losing everything and being homeless. God put a sensitivity on the inside of me, I believe, for homeless people. And I was able to now go in with that sensitivity and create a homeless shelter for 75 women and children. I fed them 3 meals a day, loved them, invited them to my church. My church ended up growing from it and benefited from it. I was able to teach them financial skills, how to get credit, how to buy homes. I ended up buying other apartment buildings that many of them were able to move into. You can be successful. You don't have to have a college degree. It's good if that's the way you want to make it. President Barack Obama had a college degree. So you can make it through that, but that's not the only way that you can experience success. Listen, I've taken up enough of your time today. I want to just talk to you about a different way to be successful. You have what it takes. See you next time on another Motivational Monday remember this: you have what it takes. This is Terrence. See you next time.